Welcome in, everyone. It's ChrisPAustin here from the Finding Happiness Podcast. And today, the concept that I'm going to be hitting you with is mentality over age. So, first of all, I want to let you know how you're going to be able to follow this podcast, where you can find it, the Finding Happiness Podcast with ChrisPAustin, available on all podcast streaming networks, from Spotify to Amazon Music, Google Podcast, everywhere. Make sure you hit the SoundCloud. And the best way is to make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's where you're going to be able to find these consistently. So if you go to YouTube, just type in ChrisPAustin and subscribe to the channel there. So for today's topic, mentality over age, this is a really crucial topic to being able to maximize confidence and eventually, or currently, be able to achieve happiness in your life. So mentality over age. Let me introduce the concept for you. It essentially is telling you, and it's telling everybody, that age is not going to be the focus of if you're capable or incapable of creating or completing a task. Age is going to be a number that defines how long you've been on the earth. Age is going to be something that can help you be able to drive and go to the bar and things like that. But ultimately, age is not going to be something, if you want to maximize your happiness, that you're going to allow to hinder you from reaching your goals and being able to attain progress. So when it comes to mentality is whatever is happening between your ears and the way that you choose to go about your actions. So I want to be really specific. Mentality, confidence, those are two words that I'm going to utilize that are going to be synonyms that mean, for me, the same exact thing. It's going to be the way you utilize what's happening between your ears to make the decisions you make and to go about the actions that you choose to engage in. So, mentality. Why do we want to focus on mentality more than age? Because this is what's going to be the ultimate happiness unlock. Mentality is what's going to help you break down barriers. Mentality is going to be the thing that helps you create consistency in your craft. Mentality is ultimately going to be the thing that allows you happiness regardless of what the variables are around you. So whether you have a bunch of people in your corner supporting your moves, or whether you have no people in your corner supporting your moves, if you can have strong mentality and you can train that and you can make that your primary, you're going to be able to have happiness, you're going to be able to have success. Now, vice versa, if you don't have strong mentality, if you have mentality that's easily hindered, if you have mentality that's easily broken, it's going to be challenging for you whether you do have people in your corner or not. Ultimately, you having strong mentality is the unlock because it makes you solely dependent on yourself. It makes you solely dependent on how you feel about the things that you're pursuing, how you feel about the things that you're choosing to engage in. But even if you have fans, and this is the big concept that I want you to understand, even if you have people in your corner, even if you have teammates, even if you have supporters, if you don't have a good mentality, you're not going to end up being happy and successful anyway. Ultimately, those people are just going to be prodding you along the way to be a fan of yourself, and you're going to be reliant on their occasional compliments or their occasional push for you to be able to achieve. And then that leaves you needing them in order to have success. So mentality over age is the concept that is going to help you be able to unlock any of the things that you want to be able to do, and ultimately it's going to be the thing that helps you have success in your craft or crafts. So let me give you an example of an unideal way in sports. So the other day I was doing a session and there was a young lady who became super distraught quickly about her current state, her current age and stage, and how she was competing in her sport. So she went on to say there's no way that she's going to be able to help the team if she's playing the way she's playing. If she's not playing at a high level, if she's not putting the ball where she wants to put it, then there's no way she's going to be able to help the team. And she quickly started to unravel herself into, and if I don't do this by now, by the time I'm in 10th grade, then this is going to be my reality, and then I'm going to get cut from the team. And it was dead serious. In this situation, there was no added hyperbole in her mind. There was no grandiose exaggeration of the story she was telling. This is really how she felt. And ultimately, the thing that popped in my mind immediately that I was going to utilize to help her was mentality over age. Like, before we begin to worry about the future or the past or any of those variables that are less important than the present, the biggest concept is that your age and where you are in life does not determine where you're going to end up, and it doesn't even determine whether you're successful or not. So if you're an athlete and you're feeling like maybe you're a little bit late to starting your sport, or maybe you're a little bit late to generic success, and what I mean when I say generic success is what society tells you success looks like. This many points, this many rebounds, this many shots on tee, this batting average. Those things have been proven to change and switch every decade we're in. If you think about the way the NBA used to be played for you basketball fans, the NBA used to be played with minimal three-pointers. And now a team would be ridiculous if they didn't shoot more than 15 a game. If you think about the way that football used to be played for you football fans, where it's all about attacking the quarterback and getting him on the ground, and now you might get a 15-yard penalty for pushing the quarterback the wrong way. Right? It's the games are ever changing and switching. And so what that says is there are no generic rules to what success is. Success is how you're able to create consistency and how you're able to create progress and happiness in order to help the bigger picture. So in sports, the bigger picture is the team winning, even if the individual happens to be the team, like in golf or tennis. So bringing it back to this young lady, her situation is a great example of the unideal way, because she began to bring her age in as the thing that was going to potential and unravel her chances. And it's just not the case. There's literally people, including myself, who didn't even start playing their sport, that they were later able to become collegiate and a professional in until they were already in the 9th or 10th grade, right? So you as a human being worrying about what your current age is in relation to where you're going to be able to end up or how much success you can have is unideal, and it's not going to help you be able to maximize your happiness. If we're talking about relationships, let's think about relationships and how age can be an effect on so many people. So when people are in relationships, and I'm talking about any kind of relationship, I'm not just talking about when people like one another physically and emotionally, or somebody has, an attraction. I'm talking about any kind of relationship. If we're talking about a family relationship or anything, it's making sure that you understand, if you believe you've lived too many years to change the way you go about it, or somebody else has lived too many years to change the way they go about it, or somebody is too young to understand, somebody hasn't had enough experience to be able to comprehend or to be able to connect, you're taking away a really strong point of connection, and that is being able to have like-minded experiences, being able to have symmetry in experiences. So somebody being 12 years old does not mean that they don't understand a concept that somebody who's 35 or 40 would understand. And somebody being 60 years old does not mean that they are beyond being able to learn or improve or adapt a concept. So many of us go about our daily life thinking that because somebody is a certain age, we're going to put them inside of a box. We're going to say they will understand or they won't understand, or they're mature enough or they're not mature enough. And so we literally have these sayings in American culture like, that person is wise beyond their years, or that person is a 40-year-old in a 15-year-old's body, rather than just being focused on the mentality. The mentality is the thing that will ultimately be able to break barriers and ultimately be able to make changes. So I don't want you to feel like your current age is the reason you will be able to have success or not, and your current age is the reason that you will have a lack of success or not. I want you to be able to determine what success is to you. I want you to be able to define it, and I want you to be able to create a plan that sends you toward it, regardless of where your starting point is. Regardless of if you're a person who is 60 or 12, somewhere older, somewhere younger, or somewhere in between. Mentality over age is the thing that can make the difference in you being able to achieve real happiness. And to give you an example from business, I was working with a client yesterday, and they called, and they're a person who's in their mid-30s. And this was like a little bit more of a refreshing conversation to hear for me as their coach, because they called and said, I'm doing these things right now. I'm involved in some youth coaching and I'm involved in some teaching at a school, but I want to pivot. I want to be able to switch gears here, and I want to go into something different because my wife is going through a situation where she's ready to have a kid, but she wants to have certainty that everything in the house is going to be okay, and I don't want her to stress about the fact that she's going to be having a child and worry about what the work situation is going to be. So I asked them, are you, pretty set on what it is you want to transition into? Do you have a good idea of what that is? And they said, yeah, I do. So they tell me their idea of what they want to transition into. And immediately I think to myself, how many people out there would tell this person or give them advice of, whoa, you need to stay in your lane. It's too late to start that process. That market's already diluted. You should just stick to what you know. This is real advice that I hear people who don't know better giving, right? And that's not the situation. The situation is, if your mind is set that you are very specified in what it is you want, and you know that this pursuit and going after this and going to get this would make you happier and it would give you more mental stability, then frickin' go for it. Okay, because ultimately it's about the mentality, it's about the experience, it's about the pursuit. It's not about what you have to do. So many of us were raised as youth in this mentality in our household of what we have to do. You gotta be able to do this, and this, and you gotta spend your years in the system, pay your dues, and do X, Y, and Z. What you have to do is what you want to do for successful people. One more time. What you have to do is what you want to do for successful people. Now, if what you want to do has less than hardworking habits, then it's about being able to shift mentality. It's about being able to transition and work on and improve mentality. But if you're willing to put in time, energy, work, effort toward a goal that you have and something that you know you really care about, then go for it. Go all in. Put all your chips in on that. And the people around you who want to be a part of it, put them in your circle. And if there's people around you who don't want to be a part of it, then they don't have to be in your circle. And that's a really challenging mentality for people because they're so used to who's been there from the beginning, they got to be there the whole time. Or the people who've been with me the longest time, they know me. And there's nobody who knows you like you know you. You're the only expert on you. You're the only person who's been there from jump and who will be there through the whole process. When you sleep, when you're awake, through all the situations. So when it comes to this concept, mentality over age, understand what I'm telling you. If you put energy into your mentality, if you put energy into the way that you think and how you attack the things that you want to be about and the things that you want to go for, you will ultimately be able to unlock happiness. If you allow your age, whether it's younger or it's older, it's somewhere in between, it's in comparison to somebody else who's done it or somebody else who's doing it, then you're not going to have the success you want at day's end. It's going to be the thing that holds you back. It's going to be a large brick for you. So when you walk away from this podcast today and you go out in the world and you start executing, I want you to remember MOA, mentality over age. It's a really important concept for those who want to be successful. It's a really important concept for the people who are on the movement forward. So how can you apply mentality over age? If you're thinking about your business, forget about the age of the people who are working with you. Forget about your current age in comparison to the industry you're in. Just go for what it is you want. If you're a person who wants to become a fisherman and you want your job to be going to catch fish and then selling them, go into that business. Start the process of doing your research. Start building it. If you're a person who wants to be a trainer of martial arts, then go start learning. It's not too late. Go put the time and work in. Go find your audience who is interested in that and ultimately is not going to care about the fact that you are whatever age you are or you're whatever gender you are. If you're a person who wants to do anything, it doesn't matter. If you're a person who wants to do anything, as long as it's within the physical realms of your capability, you are physically capable of doing it, then go. And if you're feeling like you're not physically capable, make sure you recheck and you ask yourself, am I literally not physically capable, or am I potentially not physically capable? Right? Like, can you put yourself in a physical state that would get you ready? That's what we want to be thinking about when it comes to business. Relationships. Throw out age. Regardless of what type of relationship it is, throw out age. Are you attracted to that situation? Do you want to be a part of that situation? Do you feel more happiness in that situation? If so, go for it. Screw age being a thing. Mentality is the thing. And then finally, in sports, it doesn't matter if you're an adult who's 65 years old and you've never played that sport before. It doesn't matter if you're 6 years old and you have a heavy interest in the sport. It's not too early. It's not too late. Parents, message for you. It's not too early. It's not too late. Mentality over age is going to be the unlock for you to be able to have lasting happiness and be able to have maximized confidence. So I want you to keep that in mind when you go away. Mentality over age is the concept for today. It's a concept that will change your life. If and when you lock into it, it's going to change your life. So put it inside your life. Write it down in your notebook. Put it on your screensaver. Go create a bumper sticker. But mentality over age, that is the concept that's going to create the unlock for you. So how can you follow this podcast moving forward? It's available on all social channels. It's available on anything that's dropping podcasts. Just go type in ChrisPAustin, Hunting Happiness. Make sure you're on the YouTube channel, subscribe. Okay, smash that like button. Drop me a comment. Let me know what topics that you want to hear and what topics that you've heard and your opinion on them. We'll keep it building. We'll keep it growing. Make sure you share this with people who you feel like would benefit from hearing it. I'm going to see you next podcast.